In counseling, like more than thousands of individuals over many years, I discovered something. Most people are not struggling because they are unwilling to change, but they are struggling because their focus is not on the problem. So they are trying to fix the surface without understanding what created that surface. Hello, everyone. It's always a joy to meet you all and to share my thoughts. So, in the previous session, in the previous conversation, I spoke about something um, very foundational, fundamental. Um, that is, the person whom you think you are is often a version or is often an adapted self or the version of you that was adapted from your past. And that's not who you are. That was the foundational, fundamental, concept that I uh, was reiterating last time in the previous video. So, who you are, we think we are, is often a personality that got shaped by our past, by our past relationships, past experiences, and the responses that we made to survive those experiences. Okay, that's why we want to name it as either adapted self or constructed self. It adapted to the situation, and you know that became my personality. But interestingly, that is not who I am. Okay, so in this video, I thought of going a little deeper. So transitioning from the first video, when this concept, okay, when people hear this concept that um, you are not whom you think you are just your adapted self, what happens is they immediately, the next natural reaction or the natural step people take is, okay, then I will work on myself. Okay, so immediately, they attend workshops, they set goals, they promise themselves, okay, they promise a change, and then, um, let me fix my weakness. Okay, see, all these sounds very reasonable and logical as well, right? But here is a deeper truth that I want you to understand. I want you to pay a little attention here. In counseling, like more than thousands of individuals over many years, I discovered something. I came to a conclusion, kind of. Most people are not struggling because they are unwilling to change, but they are struggling because they are trying to change in a wrong way, or their focus is not at the right place. Their focus is not at the problem. Okay, so they are trying to fix the surface without understanding what created that surface. So if we say in modern culture, in our culture right now, it is filled with messages about self improvement, a lot of self improvement. So the message is improve your habits, improve your productivity, your mindset, right? You have to be disciplined. See, many of these practices are helpful. But interesting part here is, but where we have to focus is there is an hidden message that these self improvement strategies or agendas gives us. There is a hidden kind of an assumptions or a belief system that is there behind these self improvement strategies. So the message is, if something is not working in my life, then there must be something wrong with me, which I need to fix. I need to fix that. So people begin to see themselves as, there is a lack. There is something that, there is, that I'm not good enough. There is something that is lacking in me, which I need to fix, which I need to repair, or which I need to constantly optimize. Yes, as I told you even in the previous video, discipline, self improvement, they all do have their place. But how are we prioritizing? We cannot put the cart before the horse. We will not go anywhere. You getting me? So when this message, through self improvement, when we try to fix our own self, the message that keep reinforced all the time is there is something that you're lacking, or there is something fundamentally inadequate with you. There is something fundamentally not good enough. you know uh, there is a sense of lack that gets reinforced and established in the process of fixing yourself. So whenever we try to use this word like, okay, if there is something wrong, then I have to do this, then I have to fix this. If this is what is your direction, then it is very crucial that you are reinforcing some message to your own self, to your core, saying that you are fundamentally inadequate or there is something wrong with you. Let me explain why this fixing rarely produces lasting changes. Okay, most of our behaviors are not random. This thing, you need to get this. Most of our behaviors, the way I behave, the way I react or respond, are not random. They are the expressions of deeper beliefs that were formed very early in life. It's just an expression of what we believe in our core. See, beliefs such as I am not enough, I must earn love, okay, or I must keep everyone happy, I must be strong all the time, and I cannot express my need. Are you kidding me? Or the core belief system that I am not important, I'm not valuable. These beliefs, they do not sit in the conscious mind. That's the interesting part here. These beliefs are not, they do not sit in the conscious mind. That's why, even when we say these are the belief systems that we hold, you know, logically it may not make meaning to us. We may think, no, I have a very good esteem and I think that I'm good enough. But your behavior is contradicting on what you consciously believe. When you have a belief system where you're striving for perfectionism, we are striving for, we are trying to fix, you know, more motivation, more goals, more, strategies, and you keep, you fail and you repeat, you fail and repeat. If this is your behavioral pattern, then core belief system is I am not, there is a sense of lack in your core belief system. And the interesting thing is, this core belief system, these core belief system that we mentioned earlier, they do not sit in the conscious mind. They sit in the unconscious system where identity is formed. And once this belief becomes part of your identity, behavior begins to organize, you know, around that belief system automatically. So that's why I told you your behavior is not just random. Just like that I behave, just like that I repeated things. No, no, no. It's always important to ask this question: why am I doing what I'm doing? Why I respond in this particular way? Okay. See, for example, if a person deeply believes I must prove my worth, they may work harder, achieve more, push themselves further. From outside, it looks like a success, hardworking person, but internally the belief is still running that, you must prove your worth by performance. You must prove your worth. So even if the person improves, their habits, productivity, and performance, the underlying driver, what drives this behavior or working pattern remains untouched. And eventually, what happens is the same emotional pattern returns. Are you getting me? So, anytime there is a repeated behavior, or there is a particular way in which I respond or react, then there is a message, what comes, what you should be, aware of is, or it's just a signal that there is a core belief system that is sitting inside. Okay. So, I also wanted to talk another dimension of, how this fixing is like, um, rarely produce lasting changes. There's another dimension to it. So, and this dimension is often overlooked. Our experience are not just stored as memory. I told you, remember that in the core belief systems are formed very early in life. But those memories are just not, those experiences are not just stored in our memory, but they are stored, you know in the nervous system, in the body. If a child grows up in an environment of criticism, imagine rejection, tension, unpredictability, doesn't know what happens when, their nervous system learns to remain alert, vigilant, and they always anticipate a danger. They always anticipate something negative may happen. People may fight, or something negative may happen. And what happens, because they are in an alert mode, because they are in a vigilant mode, they react quickly. They don't even give time to think before they could react. They react quickly. So even, when that person becomes an adult, see, all these things happen when that person was a child. But now that the person had grown up and, he becomes an adult, but the nervous system still operates from the earlier learning. So when something happens in the present, the body reacts first. That is the interesting point. That's the another dimension. Okay. Why just changing or modifying your behavior doesn't bring lasting changes? Because your body remembers it. So your body reacts first. Then the mind tries to explain, brings out a narration, then you give an explanation to your reaction afterward. See, this is why, many people say, I don't know why I reacted that way. And many a times, that kind of reaction is very irrational. When you yourself, just turn back and see, why did I react this way? Why did I even say that word? It seems very, irrational. Think, how come I did that? So that's what it is. Your body reacts first before your mind could, because your body saves that memory. Your body, just not your, the experiences are just not stored in your memory, it is also stored in your nervous system and in your body. And that is simply because, that's simply, if I have to say in a simple word, old learnings, they express themselves. All learning expressing itself is your behavioral patterns or your reactions many a times. So when people try to fix themselves, they usually focus, these, the body and, other components to it are overlooked usually, and they focus on controlling the behavior. Their focus will be always on modifying the behavior, controlling the behavior. See, they try to suppress the reactions. Okay, right now I'm irritated. So let me suppress the emotions. So that's what fixing is all about. They suppress the emotions. They try to, force new habits. It's not out of decision, but it's mostly towards, forcing new habits. They try to push themselves to be, someone very different, someone to be better. But if the belief system, if your core belief system and nervous system, if that pattern, if that core belief system and your nervous system memory, okay, those patterns remain the same, the system eventually pulls them back. You try hard, you fix, but there are two components, your nervous system, your core belief system, they are untouched. They remain the same. So they pull the person back. And once the relapse happens, you know, the person is devastated. The person feels, see what, I cannot change myself. This is who I am. See, I end up being the same person. See, it is something like you're trying to change the leaves of a tree while root remains unchanged. Okay. The leaves may look different for a while, but the tree will always grow from its root. Right? So for a while, leaves may look different, but the tree grows from its root. See, this is why so many people experiencing cycles of motivation and relapse. Motivation, you do, you fix, you relapse. Okay, again, you look for magic strategies, motivational pills from people, and once you take it, you work on it, you relapse. See, this is not because you lack intelligence or effort. No, not at all. It's simply because you're trying to solve the root problem with the surface tool. Hope you're getting it. See, this is where the idea of course shift becomes important. Okay. So, course shift, it's the flagship program of organization. So this course shift is not about fixing yourself. We don't work towards fixing a person because we strongly believe that everyone are complete by design. You're flawless, blameless, and you're complete by design. So course shift is not about fixing yourself. It begins with a very different understanding. We start with a different understanding that you're not flawed. You're not a flawed person. You need, who needs to become better. We are not here to make you better person. We are not here to make you, a different person. No. You are a person whose adaptive self was shaped by earlier experiences, and that adaptive self, helped you survive back then. Okay. But it may not reflect your true design. So the work is not to fight yourself. The work is not to fix yourself. The work is to understand what shaped you, to bring, unconscious beliefs into awareness, and to help your nervous system, your body feel safe again. This is the whole concept. Okay. So bringing your unconscious belief to your conscious awareness and helping your nervous system to feel safe again. Hope you're getting it, right? So as we do this, we really align our thoughts, our emotions, and actions with who you truly are and not aligning to your adaptive self. Okay. So if you want to begin exploring this, today, try asking yourself a different kind of question. See, all the time or most of the time, we ask this question: how do I fix this behavior? How do I change this behavior? How do I come out of this? See, instead, ask this question: what belief about myself, what am I believing that I'm ending up doing this behavior? Or what inside of me, what belief system of mine is driving me towards this behavior? Or a simple question would be, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I, getting irritated very often? Why? Give a why question to your behavior. See, most of the time we criticize our reaction, or more than criticize. We judge ourselves and we become guilty. We um, feel bad. We condemn ourselves. No, instead, this week practically, I want you to apply this. Instead of criticizing your reaction, pause and ask, what did this part of me, or what was my learning that is making me to do this behavior? Okay, when you approach yourself with this understanding, rather than correction, rather than fixing, your awareness begins to grow. You'll become aware of your unconscious belief system. You will become aware of why behind your behavior. Because awareness is where the transformation starts. Without awareness, transformation, it cannot start. That's why fixing or self-improvement is kind of an illusion without, working on your core belief system and helping your nervous system. So, just want to conclude. Just want to repeat, reinforce certain things. You are not a problem to be solved. Take this. You are not a problem to be solved. You are an individual who had, early life experiences, and those experiences shaped and, structured few patterns in you, your thoughts, your emotions, the way you react. Okay, so, and those patterns, you know, because it got repeated, it became your, natural flow. Seems like that's your personality. Okay, but these patterns can change not through constant fixing, no, but it will change by deeper understanding. Okay, by deeper understanding that it has a root to be resolved. It has a root. There is a root to this problem which need to be addressed. The surface level behavior modification or so-called self-improvement, is not going to help you, attain the transformation that you really look for. Because if you're a person who's looking for transformation or real time, shift in your life, it's high time, instead of focusing on fixing and improving and self-improvement, turn your attention and focus towards why behind your behavior. Okay. So in the next conversation, we will explore something even more important. Okay, that is, maybe I'll give a quick snippet of it. That is, what is the cost of not shifting these patterns? Okay, today we said that fixing these patterns are kind of an illusion. But in the next video, I'll be talking about what is the cost that we are paying if we are not, aware of this pattern and if we are not shifting these patterns. Okay, so I'll meet you in the next video. Bye bye.